Andrea Walters, a certified fast away coach and fellow mama to the most handsome rainbow baby who is currently sleeping. So I may need to pop out for just a minute when he wakes up to let his aunt know to go get him. But motherhood was not an easy journey for me. It took me a long time to get pregnant after I experienced pregnancy loss, and then I gained about 60 pounds during my pregnancy. And I battled a lot of postpartum depression and anxiety and realized just how tough motherhood is, both physically and mentally. Like it is a struggle sometimes. And so I became a fast away coach, and now I get to spend time with moms like you all and help them build really simple habits when it comes to fitness and nutrition that fit into real life because life comes with vacations and sick days and everything in between. And so we need a plan that is with us for the long haul, not just a quick fix. So I'm really excited to share some of that with you today. And that is even more important to me because I recently read the Her Index Q1 report. I don't know if y'all have heard of this. But it showed that of all of the women surveyed, 58% of them, mostly moms, struggle to make time for themselves. And you know what? You're here. And so you have made time for yourself, which is amazing. So I want you to consider today your permission slip, permission to put yourself back on the priority list, and permission to make change. Now, I do have to do my fun little disclaimer, which is I am not a doctor, so the strategies that I am sharing today are based on research, personal experience, and what has worked for me and the women that I have supported as a Faster Way certified coach. But obviously, this is not meant to replace any kind of medical advice, so always consult with your doctor before making any changes to your nutrition or exercise plans. So, my goal for today is that you will walk away with at least two practical tools that you can use to jumpstart your weight loss. Now, this could be something with self limiting beliefs, it could be something with moving your body intentionally, but I want you to walk away with something. So, I am going to drop the link to the workbook in the chat. This is the page I'm on. If you simply click get the workbook, you should see this pull up. So I will give you all a minute to do that. It should show up as a fillable PDF. Hopefully that is working for everyone. So I'll give you a minute to access that. Now, I know that with weight loss workshops and things like this, there can be a lot of offer anxiety, right? Of like, what is she going to try to sell me at the end of this thing? So I'm going to just take 75 quick seconds to get that out of the way so that we can spend the rest of our time together working through the workbook. So if you are not familiar with the Faster Way, it is a comprehensive wellness program that combines nutrition strategies, workouts, a supportive community, and a bunch of other things to help people, especially moms, meet their goals. So we start with a 6-week program where you learn and put into practice the 5 pillars of the Faster Way, and we figure out what works for you. And then after that 6 weeks, you move into a monthly membership. And that's where we, meaning you and me as your coach, work together to optimize and make adjustments so that you can continue making progress towards your goals. Because I know for me, what I needed at 3 months pregnant versus now me at 7.5 months postpartum are very different. So because life changes, that's my job as a coach is to help you with that. So usually our 6-week program is $249, but right now we are offering $50 off with the code SUMMER50 if you sign up by the end of tomorrow. After that, the monthly program is $79 a month, which unlocks a ton of additional resources, an extensive workout catalog, all of that. But because my gift is because my love language is gifts, at the end of today, if you hang out with me all day, I will be raffling off a free spot in a 6-week program. The other thing I want to mention is because you are part of the Auggie community, if you sign up with me, I will be sending out special welcome packages with some of my favorite things that is going to be valued at over $75. So if you want more info, there is some QR codes and whatnot in your workbook. So enough of that, let's get into this. So I would love, let me just check the chat real quick. I would love to start with just understanding how many of you have maybe been where I have been. So I'm going to read through 5 things. If any of them resonate with you, I would love for you to drop a number, a chat, a word, something in the chat. So if you have hidden in the back of photos or have sucked in, if you have Googled weight loss tips for mom, if you have tried a 30-day cleanse, if you have had a late night snack out of boredom, or if you have been afraid to step on the scale. If any of those resonate with you, I would love for you to drop something in the chat. Yep, thank you, Louise. Yes, 100%. Maribel, yes. Yeah, Laura, yes. Amazing. I get it, y'all. Like, I have to tell you, when my son was born, my parents were in town, and of course, it was Christmas time, and they wanted pictures. And the physical reaction I had to them asking to take pictures and the mental dread that I felt was palpable. Like, it was so bad. I tried to position myself in the back of pictures, or I'd hold the baby out in front of me, trying to hide my body. And I didn't even want to try on clothes other than my 3XL nightgown because I knew that would fit. So please know that today I am coming to you from a place of support and encouragement because I have been where you are, I am where you are. And so it's just one of those things that we really have to work through as moms. Now, hopefully everyone has their workbook pulled up. Let me just drop the link in the chat one more time in case we've had anyone join that needs it. And I'm hoping y'all can see my screen of the workbook. So we're going to go down to page 4. Now, today we are going to talk through the 4 M's, I like to call them, of mindset, movement, metabolism, and meals. So, of those 4, what do you think is your biggest blocker to weight loss right now? I will allow you a minute to do the poll on the screen and also check it off on your workbook. So here, I will do this alongside you so you can see how this is meant to do. So my name is Andrea, and I am definitely mindset. All right, let's see. I'll give you guys one more minute to vote. All right, it looks like we've got people all over. So we've got some mindset, some movement, a few metabolism, and meals. Awesome. So we are going to go with these all over. Kimberly, no worries. Here is the link to the workbook. All right, awesome. Now, how do I get this poll off of here? Maybe. Okay, I think I did it. If y'all can still see it, hopefully not. Okay, now with mindset, I want to be honest with you that, in my opinion, mindset is the most important thing when it comes to jumpstarting your weight loss. It is estimated that we make nearly 35,000 decisions a day, which is wild to me, from whether to get out of bed, to what to eat for lunch, to what shoes to put on. So, in every situation, we have a choice. And as my therapist once said to me, you get to choose your hard. And when she told me that, I was like, dang, like that's harsh, but it's true. Like I can choose and you can choose to make one small change, or you can choose to go all in and make a lot of changes, or you can choose to not make any change at all and stay exactly where you are. But you get to choose that hard. And so part of that is really coming from a place of being honest with ourselves, which for me is really difficult because I know sometimes I know something deep down, but I don't want to admit it. And so we're going to start by identifying what we believe is our main problem or pain point when it comes to losing weight. So if you go down in your workbook, let me scooch this out of the way. Under problem statement and pain point, when it comes to reaching my weight loss goals, my main problem or pain point is, so for example, maybe it's I keep skipping workouts. Maybe it's I eat fast food multiple times a week. What else could it be? Oh, I'm a big sweets person, so maybe it's I crave sweets all day, every day. Um, Another problem, I know for me, like I have negative thoughts about the way I look. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a minute to write yours in. Is anyone brave enough to come and share theirs in the chat? I know it's hard. Sweets and workouts are definitely a big one. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, hopefully you all have your problem statement written down. So this next part, sweets cravings, yes, for real. Yes, yes, yes. So now in this section where we have because, this is something that can be a little jarring for people, so just be warned. We are going to write because it's not a priority or because insert opposite thing is not a priority. So, for example, I keep skipping workouts because they aren't a priority. Or um, I crave sweets all day, every day because healthy food isn't a priority. Or I have negative thoughts about the way I look because my mental well-being is not a priority. So you're going to add it's not a priority in this box or that phrase. So let me just put in an example because eating healthy isn't a priority. Now, I want you guys to say that out loud. And I know that's weird, especially like maybe your kids are around or maybe you're at work, but even just whispering it, like say it out loud. And how does it feel? I know when I first did this exercise, it was really tough. Like, I didn't want to admit that I wasn't doing things because I didn't view myself as a priority, and that was really tough. So, depending on how it makes you feel when you say it out loud, check one of these boxes. Does it make you really sad and angry? Is it something that you're like, "Oh, that's okay." But if you're in this orange or red area, if that's how it makes you feel, then that's probably a good sign that maybe it needs to be a priority. And so, again, like I said earlier, today is your permission slip to put yourself on the priority list. Now, as part of mindset, we're also going to dig a little bit deeper and we are going to go through the 5 whys. Definitely main thing, I don't prioritize myself. Yes, 100%. A lot of moms. And that's why this is focused on moms because when we take a minute to really dig deep down inside of ourselves, like a lot of times we do put ourselves last and it's just part of motherhood. There's a term called matrescence. If you have not looked it up, look it up. But it's how we actually change. It's kind of like going through puberty when you have a kid. So 100%. Okay, so the 5 whys. We are going to go down to page 5 in your workbook. It says mindset. And the 5 whys. So you're going to copy your problem statement or just put it in here. So I'm going to put that I keep skipping my workouts. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask ourselves why 5 times. So let me show you an example on screen here. So I keep skipping my workouts. Why do I keep skipping my workouts? Because I'm too tired in the morning. So then I'm going to say, okay, well, why am I too tired in the morning? Because I stay up too late. Well, why am I staying up too late? Because it's the only quiet time I have to myself. Um, quiet time I have to myself. Y'all, typing and speaking at the same time is not a strength of mine. Okay, so why is it the only quiet time I have to myself? Because my day is packed with responsibilities and I don't schedule in breaks and I don't ask for help. Okay, and so why is that? Well, because just like we talked about, I put everyone else's needs ahead of my own. So the reason I'm skipping my workouts is really because I'm not making it a priority. So the root cause here, if I wanted to get fancy, is that I have a lack of boundaries and prioritization around my own personal time. So that's one where like that it kind of hurts to say that, but it's very eye-opening. And so if you work through that, I'll give you guys maybe like a minute or two. I'll walk through a few others. I'll just kind of say them out loud to help you if you need some help. The mom guilt. Yeah, hear that. I have that all the time. Okay, so let's work through another one. Because I know a few of you put sweets in the chat. So I crave sweets all day, every day. Why are we craving sweets? Maybe because we feel drained and need a pick me up. Why do we need a pick me up? Because our energy crashes in the afternoon. Well, why is our energy crashing? For me, it would probably be because I skip breakfast or I eat something small and really carb heavy. Why am I doing that? Well, because I'm rushing to get my kiddo ready and get him down for a nap before I have to get to work. And so I forget to eat. Well, why am I rushing? Because I've put myself last in the morning routine. And so that root cause would probably be a learned pattern of ignoring the basic needs that I have in the name of trying to be productive and caretaking. So let me give you all a minute. And if anyone is brave enough to share, I would love for you to put yours in the chat or even come off of mute and let me know. I'll give you one more minute until 19 after. Everything feels more important than your needs. Yeah, that's very relatable. Yep, definitely put myself last. Yeah, I hear you for sure. All right, we're gonna keep moving on. So we're gonna scooch down to this reframing section. So I know that the root cause, like I said, can be really jarring. It can be really uncomfortable. But when we get down to the root cause, we can better help ourselves because we have that awareness. And what I would encourage you to do too is share that root cause with your partner, whether it's your husband, your wife, your mom, your best friend, like whoever that support person is in your life, share that with them because part of that is having someone kind of help you because a lot of times I know with my husband, like I have to make a list and say, I need help with these things because when he walks in the bedroom, he doesn't see the dust that I see. He doesn't see that the carpet needs vacuumed. So like we can't make the assumption that other people know what we're seeing and what we're feeling. And so I would encourage you to share that root cause with your support person. Now, awareness of some of these self-limiting beliefs is also super important to weight loss as moms because we need to be able to reframe them. And reframing is one of my absolute favorite things to do. It's been really impactful for me. So what we're going to do is on the left side down here, we're going to think about some negative thoughts or excuses or lies that we have been telling yourself. I know for me, when I was newly postpartum, mine were I don't have time, um, that I had to start all over. And then one that I want to share that a few of my clients have said is like, I can't cook. So those were their self-limiting beliefs that they didn't like for me. I didn't have time for one of my clients. They couldn't cook. And so what are some of those negative thoughts, excuses, or lies that you might be telling yourself? And keep them really simple. Really, really simple. The time issue. Yep. Okay. So go ahead and write that down on your workbook. And thank you all for actually like participating. This is wonderful. Okay. So hopefully we've got a few things written down. Does anybody else want to share theirs in the chat? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip the script. So I know time is probably on a lot of y'all's list. So we're going to flip this to say, instead of I don't have time, my time is finite but flexible. Everyone has the same amount of hours in a day. It's how we choose to spend it, right? I'm sure you've heard that before, but that's the reality. Um, I have to start all over is I get the opportunity to start exactly where I am. And for me, that's really important as moms because our body undergoes so many changes. um, Mental, physical, hormonal. Like, even if you're a mom to an adopted child, like, you still have mental things that change, like, your brain changes. So it doesn't matter how you're a mom, like, we just have to honor our bodies for exactly where we are. And then the I can't cook. This is a good one too. So I can learn how to create simple and easy meals. So all of these, if we just kind of flip the script and say, you know what, that's not entirely true. What could be? So does anybody want to share their positive thought and how they reframed? And y'all can either just come off of mute or you can put it in the chat, up to you. Okay. All right, we'll keep moving on. So to kind of wrap up mindset, you may have noticed the quote on the top of the page, and it is one that has really stuck around with me, which is make your mind a good place to be. I just posted on Instagram this morning that the words you say and the thoughts you think become the home you live in. So, what is in your home? What are you filling it with? So, I just want everyone to give yourselves the grace that motherhood deserves. And with that, we are going to move on to movement. So, mindset is wrapped up. Now, movement. This is going to be on page 6 of your workbook. So, with movement, one of the most overlooked but powerful tools, in my opinion, is something called NEAT, N-E-A-T. It is an acronym for Non-Exercise Activity Thermogenesis, which is basically just a fancy way to describe the calories that you burn through everyday movement that are not formal exercise. So things like walking to the mailbox, doing laundry, cleaning. So I want you to take a second and in the left-hand column over here on neat, we're going to write down what comes to mind when you think about how you move your body in a day um, that isn't formal exercise. So for me, I know it would be like folding laundry. It would be dancing with my son because we love listening to Chasing Your 1-Year-Old. Yes, for sure. I love it. So we're going to put those on the left side. Okay, now thank you for sharing. So engaging in these everyday activities, like what we've written down, yes, vacuuming, cleaning, perfect. These help support circulation, they help manage our blood sugar, and they help burn more calories. So movement tip number one is to increase your NEAT. So you can take a few minutes to write down how you could do that. So for example, with mine of folding laundry, I can fold laundry standing up instead of sitting on the floor. um, if it's dancing with my son, then it could be committing, how do you spell committing? We'll just go with it. Committing to one extra song before bedtime. Whoops. Gosh dang it. I'm telling y'all, typing and talking, not my squats. Squats with your baby, yes. Errands, Maribel, yes. So if you're doing errands, can you park at the far end of the Target parking lot? Or literally walk around the parking lot before you go in, or go up and down every single aisle instead of just going in for what you need. So absolutely. So on the right-hand side, neater is not really a term. I just thought it was funny. So write down how you could increase the things that you are currently doing. Really easy ways. And again, keep it super, super simple. All right. Give you guys a couple more seconds to write down anything of how you could increase it. The other thing, if anybody works at an office, I know you've probably heard this before, but take the stairs instead of the elevator. If you don't have a standing desk, use the standing desk. If you don't have one, simply stand up for 5 minutes on the hour every hour. If you're on the phone, like stand up. You could even suggest a walk and talk meeting instead of sitting around a conference table. So there are definitely things we can do throughout our day, even if we're working moms, to increase that need. All right, so next up, we are going to go to movement tip number 2, which let me put this up here. Okay, hopefully y'all can see. How many of you are currently incorporating strength training into your life? Do you know what strength training is? If you do you lift weights but don't follow a plan? Do you strength train strategically and follow a plan? Let's see how we are. Let's see. Awesome. We have some strategics. We have some not following any sort of plan. I'll give you guys just another second. I do Peloton. Oh, that's great, Haley. Yeah. Oh, thoughts on the walking pads. Louise, yeah, walking pads are great. They are wonderful for increasing your knee. I don't have one because we've been with the nursery and moving it around. I just haven't put that on the lowest part of my priority list, but I do need to get one. A lot of women I know have them. All right, let's go ahead and share these results. So some people don't know what strength training is. That's totally fine. Some lift weights but don't follow a plan, and then some people do follow, which is great. Okay, so movement tip number 2 is going to be incorporate strength training. So y'all can write that in your workbook. Incorporate strength training. Now, of course, you need to make sure with your doctor that you have the ability to do so and you've been cleared to exercise. Your strength training is non-existent, Laura. Hey, that's okay. Sometimes it isn't. Like, that's when I say I meet people where they are, like, sometimes working out is just not part of what you can do right now. But strength training, I will say, is imperative for overall health. So it does a few things. One, it increases bone density, which can help prevent osteoporosis and just overall like stronger bones, which I don't know if y'all have active kids like I do, but like that's super important. It can help you improve balance and coordination, which also comes in super handy when you are carrying the car seat and also pushing the stroller or whatever, like having that balance is great. And then it also builds more muscle. And so when you have more muscle, you actually burn more calories even at rest. So even when you aren't exercising, there is something called the afterburn effect, which means that you continue to burn extra calories even when you're done working out. So at the Faster Way, we believe that strength training is one of the most effective ways to improve your body composition and building lean muscle mass. So um, if you are not currently strength training, that can be resistance training, it can be body weight, it can be using weights. And so we typically recommend like start out with 2 days a week, assuming you have a clean bill of health and that your doctor has okayed you to exercise. And so that's what we would want to do is incorporate that strength training. And y'all give me just a minute because my kiddo just woke up and I need to let my aunt know to get him. Little dude is up. And is there anything cuter than when kids wake up from a nap? Like, it's my freaking favorite thing. Okay, so speaking of naps, that is great timing from my son. Let's talk about rest. So, strength training, yes, great, but let's talk about rest. So, I want to know how much sleep you all think you're getting right now on average. If you had to average how much sleep you're getting, are you getting 5 hours or less? Are you getting 6 to 7? If you're getting 8 or more, bless you, thank you. Give us your tips. All right. So I see the regressions make it hard. Yeah, for sure. Here's a question I missed. How to strength train with diastasis recti. So if you have that, definitely work with a pelvic floor physical therapist because they can help with movements to bring them back together. And then strength training, I'm breastfeeding while strength training and doing exercise and all of that. And you really just have to be mindful of just various movements. So if you're in that postpartum period, you may need to make modifications. I make a lot of them. I personally had to have an unplanned C-section. And so at first, my scar had some adhesion. And so it was really painful and was causing some referred pain. So a pelvic floor physical therapist can be really helpful with that. All right, it looks like we've got 50-50 of 5 hours or less and 6 to 7. So sleep, 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 y'all. Sleep is hard. As moms, when you're breastfeeding or pumping, like it's difficult. If you've got a toddler, the night terrors, like there are things that just make getting sleep as a mom difficult. And so based on those responses, it looks like we've got some tired mamas here, and I get it. Last week, our little guy went from sleeping 11 hours a night to waking up at 4 a.m. And so it's just hard. But sleep deprivation is one of the biggest hidden roadblocks to fat loss. So there are some stats that show that just 5 nights of poor sleep can lower your insulin sensitivity, can make you feel hungrier, can increase inflammation, and it can compromise your immune system. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not need to feel any more bloated or be any more susceptible to getting sleep. So, prioritizing quality rest is super, super important. Um, okay, so we are going to, in movement tip number 3, we are going to write down prioritize quality rest. And one of the biggest hidden roadblocks to fat loss is sleep deprivation. So, with that, I have gone through the liberty of creating some goals for all of you. So, I want you to read through these on your worksheet and choose one that you feel like you could improve or put into your life. And then you can fill it in. So, for example, set a bedtime and stick to it. So, I'll be in bed by 9 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. at least 3 nights this week. Or I'm going to avoid being on my phone 30 minutes before bed 2 nights this week because I don't know about you, but I am very good at choosing scrolling over sleep. Also, optimizing your sleep environment. So, is it finding a sleep mask that you love? Is it investing in blackout shades? Is it using a humidifier? Another thing you can do for sleep is try a wind down ritual. I really like box breath and also the visualization of counting down from 1,000, and I will actually combine those sometimes. And the visualization of writing down the numbers 1,999, 998, etc. That's really helpful to me. Maybe it's a meditation. I can't remember who said they do Peloton strength exercises, but I love the Peloton meditations, especially the sleep meditations, Dennis Morton and Aditi. I love their voices for going to sleep. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's one thing you could do. Or go to bed earlier. So, can you ask someone to help you do something so that you can go to bed 15 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier, whatever it is? An example for that for me would be the other day I asked my husband, I'm like, can you please wait until this bottle washer is done and then take out the stuff, put in my pump parts, and start it because I was so tired. So, can you ask someone for help? So does anybody want to share of these which action they think they could take to prioritize some quality rest? I wish I could have a full massage. That's funny. Yes, same. So little time, so many competing priorities. Tips on doing that as full-time working while managing chores. Ask for help. Asking for help is something that I feel like us moms are really bad about. If you have a hairdresser or go to church or whatever, and someone's like, hey, do you need anything? I feel like most of us are like, no, I'm fine. But in reality, like, yes, we do need help. And so I think asking for help is something that we can all do, even though it's really difficult to have those connections made. Okay, does anybody want to share what action they're going to take with prioritizing quality rest? Okay, no worries. We will continue on. So let's go to the next page, which is, oh, let's see. I just saw one come in. Choose sleepover scrolling. Okay, so we're gonna go down to our next page, which is meals. I love food, so I will try not to get on too much of a tangent on this one. So I would love to know with an emoji or in the chat. Oh, you're gonna try some Peloton meditations. Great. Haley, just look up the sleep ones. I'm telling you, a DT and dentist, like they're so calming. It's great. All right, so meals. Right now, I would love to know how many of you currently track what you eat in an app. So raise your hand, give me an emoji, put it in the chat. Maybe it is Weight Watchers, maybe it's Noom, maybe it's MyFitnessPal. You just started using MyFitnessPal. I don't. Okay, y'all don't. That is totally fine. A lot of people don't. And so, one of the things that we can do is, we've heard a million versions of eat clean or eat healthy, but rarely are we taught how much our body actually needs and how it actually impacts our body. So, one of the things that I do as a fast weight coach is based on your goals. So, do you need to lose weight? Do you want to gain muscle? Are you breastfeeding? Do you have hypothyroidism? My job is to help you figure out how much you need to eat. But on top of that, one of the things that I want you to take away from today, even if you're not tracking how much you're eating, is how things are making you feel. So we can do that a few ways. The first thing we're going to do is this pattern tracking. So if you think about your day, when do you feel like you have the most cravings? For me, it would be like 9 p.m., right before bed. When are you the most bloated? Also about 9 p.m. When are you the most thirsty? Definitely around 4 o'clock when I get up to pump. When do you feel wired but tired? For me, honestly, never. I never really feel wired, so I wouldn't put anything here. When do you have headaches? My headaches usually come around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Boredom snacking. For me, definitely at night. When do you feel out of control? I would say probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when everything seems to be colliding for the day. When are you super fatigued? Definitely 4 a.m. when I'm up pumping. So this allows me to see, okay, around 9 p.m. is when some things are happening. So when we do this, then we can start thinking about what patterns are emerging. What happened right before those things? What did I eat? So for me, I know that this is the time where I'm doing my last pump of the day to try and build up our supply. And I've already had dinner. I'm usually kind of running around working on personal things or work things that I needed. So this would be my pattern of, okay, I need to be really mindful of what's going on at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to give you guys, let's see, it's 10:38. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to kind of work through this pattern tracking and fill in what patterns emerge for you. Is anybody an evening pattern person like me? Nighttime, yeah. Tips on how to stay on top of tracking. Most in the evening, yeah. Morning. Okay. Evening time. Cool. Morning. Wake up starving. That's good feedback, Kimberly. It's a good thing to know. And Kimberly, with waking up starving, we'll get into this in a minute, but having a little bit more protein with your last meal of the day can help with that. For some people, I eat healthy throughout the day, but at night it's out the window. Feel like a lot of us can relate to that. Okay, awesome. So, this pattern tracking is something obviously you can do on your own. Now, I want you to take this step further. So, at the bottom of your page, meal tip number one is track what you're eating. Um, in the Faster Way app, we have a meal tracker and we have meal plans. So for me, I'll just put the suggest button and up comes the meal plan for the day. And I can say, okay, I'm going to eat this. And that's what I put in. We also have like a barcode scanner and some things that MyFitnessPal also has. If you don't join the Faster Way, my favorite meal tracking is MyFitnessPal. I think it's super intuitive and easy for people who have never done it before. So meal tip number one, track what you're eating. Meal tip number two is, whoops, track how those foods make you feel. And so when I say that, one of the things you can think about is keeping a short log of what you're eating and how you feel 30 to 60 minutes after, and then also the next day. So, for example, when I eat a lot of white bread, am I feeling energized, bloated, sleepy, anxious? Does my stomach hurt? And then the next day, do my joints hurt? Do I have trouble sleeping? Did I get a headache? So when you identify those patterns, it's important to let your doctor know if something's like really coming up because it could be a sign of some kind of sensitivity or intolerance. And so tracking what you are eating is really, really important too. Now, I think part of tracking your food also comes to when you are eating. So, how many of you are familiar with intermittent fasting? Have you never heard of it and are like, what is this girl saying? Have you heard of it but haven't tried it? Or are you actively doing it? One person is awesome. Okay. All right. We have a lot of heard of it but never tried it, which is totally fine. So, um, intermittent fasting, when people hear it, they can be a little bit like, oh, that sounds like a diet, or it can be kind of jarring. But intermittent fasting is simply an eating schedule. Um, you think about it with how much time you're spending during the day eating and how much time you're letting your body rest. So when breastfeeding or pregnant, my general recommendation is a 12-12. So the majority of your 12 hours of fasting is when you're sleeping. Um, Now, I want to do a quick little myth or fact. So let's put some things in the chat. You put down if you think this is a myth or a fact. First one is fasting puts your body in starvation mode. Kimberly, yes, it is a myth. Fasting does not put your body in a starvation mode when done correctly. Next up is fasting increases stress levels. Myth. Kimberly, you're on it. Maribel, yep. Louise, yes, myth. Okay, fasting can help clear your skin. Kimberly, Haley, yep, yes, that is a fact. So your cells regenerate and all of that, which can help your skin. Next up, fasting can improve long-term brain health. Yep. Yes. Yes, you guys are awesome. Fact, yep, that it can. And last is fasting can help with weight loss. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. So, see you guys, you know about intermittent fasting. So, meal tip number 3 is try intermittent fasting. But do it with a coach. So, for example, me as your coach, I can help you figure out which eating schedule works best for you, your goals, your lifestyle, all of that, because everyone is different. And so that's why you shouldn't just jump in. If you've never done it before, I typically don't want you starting at a 16:8. Like that's gonna put a lot of stress on your body. So when you are eating within the window and what you're eating in that window is equally important. So I know we're running close to time, so I'm gonna try to fly through these. I have so much to get through, y'all. So try intermittent fasting. But like I said, what you're eating also counts. So meal tip number 5 is to make smart swaps. Or meal tip number 4, sorry. So we're gonna do this quick exercise. So if you're anything like me and you're a mom on the go, or I saw a few things in the chat about starving while breastfeeding. Like, yes, I have a little snack bin that I keep with things that I can just grab that I know are healthy, because when healthy stuff is in reach, like you don't even have to think about it, it's just right there. So let's think about some of our go-to snacks. So for me, it would be the Solely fruit jerky that I love. And if you guys were at the Prego Expo by chance, I talked about it a million times because it's so good. Ice cream. I love ice cream. And chocolate. Those are my things that I love. So when you write down your snacks, then the next thing is just awareness. And so you're going to check off the boxes below. So with this snack, is it processed? Does it have added sugar? Does it contain gluten? Does it contain dairy? Um, so we're going to kind of check all of those things off. Now, why we're checking those things off is because each of those can cause inflammation. And inflammation is one of the sneakiest reasons why the number on your scale might not be changing. So even if your body composition is changing, so if you're building muscle and losing fat, inflammation can cause bloating and water retention and all sorts of other things. So in order to reduce inflammation, we can make some smart swaps and just try, we don't have to get rid of all of our favorite things, but um, focusing on whole food nutrition and just trying to eliminate some of those processed foods, we can start making progress and getting our body into a more metabolism burning area. And when I say whole food nutrition, that means foods in their most natural state. So, the faster way, we have a saying that if it comes from the ground or has a mother, it's fair game. So, basically, we want things that are in their natural state that have a bunch of vitamins and minerals that give us the energy, that reduce our fatigue, that strengthen our immune system, because like, look, as moms, we don't have time to get sick. Like, I know we do, but it's a really big pain in the butt. Like, my husband just had COVID last week. That was a pain. So the healthier we can keep ourselves, the better. So once you have your snacks in there and you've kind of written down like, they might be causing some inflammation. So I'll focus on ice cream since that one has the most things checked. What is a smart swap I could do? It could be a smoothie bowl. I love making smoothie bowls. So instead of having ice cream every single day, why don't I just have ice cream on Saturdays, which is our treat day on leg day, and then every other day have a smoothie bowl? So just think through some of those smart swaps. And I'll give you guys a minute if anybody wants to put theirs in the chat. And then we have one more page that I'm going to fly through because I know we're over on time. So thank you all for hanging out with me. Anybody want to share their swaps? Greek yogurt with fruit. Yes, perfect. Smoothies and add protein. Yes. Yeah. One of my favorite things to do is add collagen peptides to smoothies and smoothie bowls because they have some protein, but you don't taste it because a lot of protein powders to me are really chalky or have a really strong taste. So yeah, good suggestion. Kimberly, I feel like maybe you could run this next. All right, let's go ahead and move on to metabolism, which is page 8. So good old metabolism. Like, honestly, sometimes it feels like a buzzword more than an actual like scientific thing. But all of the things that we have talked about, so eating cleaner, walking more, sleeping well, and if you're doing all of those things but you still feel like you're holding on to weight, then it might be your metabolism and it might be a little bit stuck. So as moms, our hormones shift drastically during pregnancy and postpartum. So our muscle mass can decrease if we aren't training it, which we talked about through strength training. Muscle tends to burn more calories than fat. If we have stress that is quietly lingering in every room, like, I don't know about you guys, but clutter just does something to my brain, like it's horrible. So all of that can affect metabolism. But the good news is that there are things we can do to support it. And so when you think about your metabolism as kind of your body's like internal engine and how you efficiently burn calories, it's helpful to know what can slow it down. So we're going to go through a quick metabolism audit. So if any of these things apply to you, you're going to just check them off on your page. But I want you to know that experiencing one or more of these, it does not automatically mean that you have a slower metabolism because some of them can actually influence metabolism in a good way. So, like sometimes stress in the short term can release a little bit of cortisol, which can help. But there are other symptoms like fatigue and unexplained weight gain. Like those could be a sign of an underlying health condition and not necessarily metabolism. So, this is just kind of things to be aware of. And that if you have any concerns, bring it up with your doctor and say, hey, I'm noticing that I've been yo-yo dieting most of my life. I'm always thirsty and I am super stressed. Like, could that be impacting my metabolism? Maybe, maybe not. So, just having that awareness and checking off those things is really a good thing that you can do. Now, another thing that we can think about with metabolism is our macronutrients. So, if you all have never heard of macronutrients, they are proteins, carbs, and fat. And basically, they are the things that your body needs in large amounts to function well. So, of the three macronutrients, protein requires more energy for the body to digest, which can boost your metabolism. With that said, not all protein is created equal, and I want you to hear that. So, the nutritional content, including the amount of protein and the amount of fat, can vary pretty widely depending on the protein source. So, it's not just about eating more protein, it's about eating more lean protein and being really smart about it. And so, that is something that I help my clients with is just kind of figuring out what to eat when. So there are some days where we actually want more fatty proteins because we're on a low carb day. And so we work through that in a faster way of when to kind of introduce those things each day. Okay, now our metabolism tip. So number one, I'm slacking here, was our metabolism audit. Number two is increasing lean protein consumption. And then we're going to keep on scooching down. So number three is going to be stay hydrated. So when oh geez, see y'all typing and talking. When we think about like increasing lean protein consumption, that can be as simple as adding a scoop of collagen to your coffee or pairing um, eggs and turkey sausage with some fruit or stocking up on protein forward snacks, things like almonds and edamame and peanut butter and jerky. I really love the Chomps and Mighty Spark brands of jerky. Whenever I make like a pasta dish, I'll double the amount of meat in it so that you can double the amount of protein per serving. So when you think about that, there's some pretty easy things to incorporate. But when we think about staying hydrated, a lot of people think of that and think of, oh, I just need to drink more water. But staying hydrated is different than drinking water because hydration is about having a proper balance of fluids and electrolytes and other nutrients that your body needs to function. So, even mild dehydration can slow down your metabolism. It can make you have more cravings, it can mess with your digestion. And so, we want to think about like how we're staying hydrated. And especially if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, live in a dry climate like I'm in Colorado, a high altitude, if you're extremely active, or maybe you're somewhere where it's super hot and humid and so you're sweating all the time, like all of those things can, number one, take out water and also remove salt. And so when we think about staying hydrated, as long as your doctor is okay with it, I would recommend adding electrolytes to your water at least once a day just to kind of help replenish what has been lost through sweat or breastfeeding or whatever it might be. And then number four, because I know we are way over on time, is to lift weights. So, or strength train. I know we talked about this before. So, the muscle that you build, we're just going to double down on this because it's so important, is the fact that the muscle burns more calories than fat. So, even when you're sleeping, cardio is wonderful for heart health, but strength training is what actually starts to change your body composition. So, two people that weigh 135 pounds can look totally different if one has a ton of lean muscle mass and the other has a ton of fat. And so that is something that we just really focus on is how do we build those muscles? So the faster way, we actually use carb cycling and intermittent fasting combined with strength training and specific nutrition to optimize our metabolism and not crash it. So I know we have talked about a lot today. And so I'm going to fly through the rest of this because I appreciate y'all staying on. Suggested next steps. So Self-awareness, like we talked about at the beginning, is really important. So one of the things for me that was really big was comparison stealing my joy, which I think it was Theodore Roosevelt who had said that quote. But I noticed that I was following some influencers and things on social media that were super skinny and looked like they had it all together. And it was just causing me to do a lot of body comparison and having a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. So delete it or mute them, like hide it. So what is currently stealing your joy? Another thing is like, are you holding yourself back with an all or nothing mentality? This is something that kept me stuck for years when we were trying to conceive. Was I was like, well, if I can't do the workouts because I can't look at this trainer who's pregnant because it's just so triggering to me, I didn't focus on what I could do, which was like, hey, I can focus on my nutrition and getting and staying hydrated and all of those things. So if all or nothing is holding you back, choose one thing to do it, and then celebrate the heck out of it when it's done. Another one is like, what are you holding on to that's making you super miserable? Like, what rule is there that maybe you need to let go of? Maybe it's like, oh, I'm not going to eat carbs after 4 o'clock, or I have to get back to my pre-baby weight. Like, those things can really hold us back. So, write it down on a piece of paper, rip it up, throw it out, set it on fire safely, like, whatever you need to do of just letting that go. And then I also like to do a manifestation and visualization. So, like the best version of me right now in this season that I am, what does she think? What does she eat? What does she move like? What does she speak to herself like? So, really thinking about that of like, am I prioritizing myself and my well-being in the stage of life that I'm in? Because as a new mom, like there's so much I'm experiencing, and that's okay because who I am today is not who I was a year ago, and it's not who I'm going to be a year from now. And so that's one thing in the faster way that we really just want to focus on like where you are in this moment, what can you do, what feels attainable, and all of that. And then these last two, these journal prompts. These I think are some of the most powerful things you can do with weight loss because so many times it's like, well, what if I don't make progress or what if I can't fit into these jeans or we kind of go to that negative. So having these journal prompts of what could go right, like if you made one change, what could go right? And then what if it all works out? Like, what if everything you dream of in that visualization, what if it came to fruition? So, really putting yourself in that positive mindset, I think, is a really, really, really great exercise. So, I know we are like way over on time. So, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Um, if you have time to hang on, I want to quickly give away one spot in my 6 week round. So, if you are interested in being entered into that, please put your name in the chat and I will put you in the picker wheel and we'll do that really quick and then I will let you all go. And then also, don't forget that if even if you don't win, you can do this $50 off and get a $75 welcome package and all of that. Okay, now let's see if I can. How do I make this bigger? Hold on, you guys. I need to. Okay. Okay, I see Kimberly. Kimber. Kimberly, I had, oh my gosh, Kimberly. My aunt is an Ley, so I always have to look at how I'm doing that. Oh my gosh, Myra. Okay, Maribel, Louise, Haley. Okay, Laura and Ivy. Okay, did I miss anyone? If I did, please put your name in right now so it pops up because I do not want to miss somebody. I would feel so bad. 6, 7, okay. All right, I think we've got everyone. So we're gonna let the wheel do the talking. I should have made this a prettier color. Not that green and yellow isn't, but could have made it match everything else. Here we go. Let's see who it is. Haley! All right, yay, Haley. So Haley, if you will either message me um, or email me and put it in, that would be great. For all of you that put in for this, I would love to offer you something extra special. So in addition to the $50, if you sign up by end of day tomorrow, and the $75 welcome gift, If you sign up with me by the end of day tomorrow, I will also send you a $100 gift card to your choice of Amazon or Target because I appreciate you being here and taking the time. And I truly believe that as moms, investing in our health is more important than anything because we need to show up completely and wholly from a place of joy and energy. So, Summer 50 will get you that code or will get you the $50 off of the registration fee. You'll get the $75 welcome package, and then I will also send you a $100 gift card. So I would love to invite you all in. And Haley, please email me or DM me in the app so that way I can get your info and make sure I get you your code to join. And thank you all so, so much for joining me today. All right, y'all, have a good one.